you all need to say, but we're going to give it a first shot. If we have to have a second version, a second meeting to get to the rest of it, then we certainly will do that. But I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Charlotte Douglas, and I am the Crawford County 100 Families Coordinator. And I'm employed by United Way, which has come along as a great partner because they have the same vision we have for community collaboration and finding needs in the community and meeting those needs. So we've been very fortunate to have a partnership with United Way. And what we do at 100 Families is we identify families that are in crisis, and that could mean that they are justice involved. In other words, maybe they've got a family member coming out of the prisons or out of jail. They could be involved with DHS and need support, either keeping their family together or getting their children back. It could be just poverty, and they don't have a job, and they don't have the means to get to a job, so transportation. So what 100 Families does is enrolls these families. We take references, referrals from all over the county, and even outside the county. We've had people get to know us and send us referrals. So we're not quite ready to expand outside of our borders, but we are working on it. But when they refer to us, then we contact those families, and I call it onboard them. And at that point, we go through an interview with them and find out what their crisis areas are. Is it that you're homeless and living in a car or living on a couch at a relative? Is it just transportation? You're isolated and can't get anywhere. You can't get groceries. Cars in the yard, but it's broken down. Or is it, just finances, lost a job or a recent divorce? All of these things have happened and have been extremely accentuated during COVID. So as things get back to normal and kids get back to school, we're having more and more referrals as they're coming into the public eye, back from being isolated. So that's what we do in a nutshell. And I have 3 case managers. One works with Melinda McSpadden at Western Arkansas Child Development. And then I have, and that's Latoya Shepard. And then I have Noah Jackson that works under Restore Hope, which is one of our parent organizations that was put together by the governor. And then I have Autumn Grant that takes all the referrals that need education and have needs that job trainings and career emphasis. So we have a very diverse group of case managers, and I think they're the best in the state. I think everything in Crawford County is the best. So I'm a little prejudiced, but that's what we do, and that's who we are. And I'm welcoming you to our Zoom today. And I think I'm going to let Karen Phillips, who is, I always say she's my boss, and she is my boss, but she won't admit it. So I wouldn't take me on as an employee either, Karen. But she's going to talk to you about maybe figuring out whether it's time for us to move away from Zoom or have a hybrid, or go to meeting room and have everybody in one spot. So Karen, what have you got for us?
Okay, just real quickly, you should see a poll show up. This is super simple, y'all. It's a yes or no question. Are you ready for this meeting to be in person? The last thing we want to do is schedule an in-person meeting and only 2 people show up. So we want to know if you're ready for these meetings to be in person. So just check yes or no on your screen. This shouldn't take but a few seconds. And and we'll move on to know whether or not we're ready. Looks like 23 out of 25 of you have voted. So I think 74% yeses, 26% no's. So thank you for that. I know Charlotte wants to probably give it a try, maybe in the May meeting. So thank you.
And what we will do in that first meeting is have it in a large enough space so that we can still social distance for those that are still at risk, maybe haven't had vaccination or, couldn't take it, or, so for some reason you still feel like you're at risk. And so we'll be able to social distance. I'll also probably for a while have a little bit of a hybrid where you can join us either live on Facebook or with a Zoom link. So we'll try to accommodate everybody as we make this transition from this very difficult year that we just survived. So, okay, Karen, did you have anything else?
Not until you want me to do data. So.
Okay, well, if you'll bring our panelists up.
I sure will.
And we will start talking about workforce in Crawford County. There we go. We got 3. 4, 5. There we go. Great.
Is that everyone?
I think that's it.
Okay.
So what our theme is for this meeting today was how do we build a stronger workforce in Crawford County? And, what are the reasons why we would even want a stronger workforce? And I guess, and I know we all know the reason, but it's for economic reasons as well as just the quality of life of people within our county. And we know that if we bring up the quality of life for as many people as we can, then it is really going to improve our whole county. It also attracts business to our area. And we need to be able to say that we have programs out there that can develop a workforce that may be needed for a specific industry to move in. So I think some of those are going to be answered today by our panelists. And I'm going to let each of the panelists introduce themselves and tell us, how long you've worked at your present job, and then we'll get started with some questions. Dennis, will you start off? I'm just going to go like you are on my screen, left to right.
Sure, be happy to. So I'm Dennis Williamson. I'm the Director of Workforce Development with the Western Arkansas Planning and Development District. Started here in 2016 in economic development and moved to a new program, which is still economic development, which is workforce. So the connection is there. We've worked with just about every agency that's on this call. And I see, many folks that we get out and visit with. So we provide, we are a connector. We do represent the elected officials with state funding for workforce. We represent the workforce board. And so we are the advocate really for the entire region
Right.
in that role.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, that's good. And Shirley McCutcheon is next, and she's new to our area, and she has come in with a bang and gotten busy, and she's teaching classes. And so, Shirley, tell us a little bit about you and what you bring to the table today.
I am the one-stop operator in the Fort Smith office at 616 Garrison Avenue. I sit up front in the little corner in the glass cage and help with a lot of different things. I'm from Harrison, Arkansas. I moved here, I think it was June 2019. And so I started in my position in November of last year. I've been here about 6 months. So I'm totally the new kid on the block. Running at a high rate of speed and learning a lot of things and trying to, promote a lot of things that I see will help, our children and families in our community. I just kind of help bring new businesses to the table with jobs, help with center services, establish them, help my state agencies work and network together, and kind of help case managers and everyone do what they're supposed to be doing, so we can better serve our clients. It's been challenging with COVID because everyone's kind of locked down and they're slowly crawling out, and it's been a challenge to kind of pull everyone out of their shell and get them to moving again. But I think everyone really appreciates the fact that we're making headway there, and we're trying to open the center up to do some more services. We talked about yesterday actually opening up a service again for homeless families to come in and get computer classes. Our adult ed staff came in and taught those classes. So I think that's one of the things we're going to be opening up real soon. So, and I'm excited to be on the panel and learn from everyone else.
Right. Miss Dr. Debbie Faubus, you're next, and tell us in a nutshell, if you can, what you all do at Adult Ed.
Well, since Dennis didn't take all the time, now I have plenty of time to talk.
Okay, okay, children, stay.
I'm Debbie Faubus Kendrick. I'm the director at Crawford County Adult Ed in Van Buren, and we do some workforce training, try to partner with business and industry, partner with dentists, with anybody that we can to serve the needs of our community as much as we can. Of course, we have SNAP and TANF and Parents as Teachers program, and I guess I'll go into all that. I've been in education, this is my 40th year, and I've moved from being a 5th grade teacher all the way up to where I am today. I've been here 14 years. So it's a challenge. We're getting ready to move, in case you all don't know. We have boxes out here lining the walls, and we're moving up to City Heights, and we've partnered with District Court for 4 years now. So we're going to be in the same building with them. So we're really excited about that. So happy to be here. Thank you.
That's great. Mr. Kendall Ross, you're next in the queue. If you'll tell us a little bit about you and university.
Sure. So my name is Kendall Ross, and I lead the Center for Business and Professional Development here at the University of Arkansas, Fort Smith. My background is engineering, and I've been in nonprofit ministries for a number of years. I won't tell you how many because that will date me, and so I won't go there. I've been in higher education now for right at 9 years. I started as an adjunct instructor, and then I've been here at the University of Arkansas for the last 6. The Center for Business and Professional Development, we primarily focus on workforce training from unemployed or underemployed individuals all the way up to C-suite executives. So we kind of have that broad range of doing a lot of different things. There's a lot of interesting things happening at the University of Arkansas, Fort Smith. We're in the process of reorganization. Our department will be moving downtown to the Bakery District in October.
Really?
We'll be opening a new center for Arkansas Small Business Technology Development Center. Our Family Enterprise Center will be there, and then all of our faculty and staff from the Center for Business and Professional Development will be there. So we'll have a really large, two large classrooms and a downstairs, and about 3 different collaboration areas upstairs. So we'll do a lot of our training downtown.
That's a great boost for, our area to see you expanding, outside your footprint there and using some space downtown. So
yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Miss Carol Ann Braswell from Pepper Source, you're bringing today your perspective as an employer, and we in Crawford County, we love Pepper Source and what they bring to the county and their products, so shamelessly give them, a great endorsement, and tell us where we can get your products.
Well, thank you for having me. And yeah, I hope that what I can share is of value and helpful. Shirley, I'm the new kid on the block too. I joined Pepper Source in November, so just have been here 6 months. So they recognize the need to have someone that could focus on recruiting and retention. And I will just go ahead and share with you now, and we can get more into it as we get into the questions and discussion. But We are actually struggling more now with vacancies than we did through COVID. So there is really, and from what I've gathered just from other companies and from our temp agency, a lot of other manufacturers are experiencing the same issue right now. So, so anything I can share that's of help, and I hope to contribute. But yes, everything we manufacture is private label. So you probably all have our products in your freezer and don't even know it. Think of like sauce packets that come in meal kits, things like that, barbecue sauces, different salsas and things like that. So wonderful company, family owned. We've got the 3rd generation of family kind of taking the reins, and they just want to improve and grow and adapt. And that was kind of one of the things that drew me here. Just the company, some of the core leadership that's been here forever that some of you know, like Jay White. So just really love being a part of this and want to help in any way I can. So
Right.
thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. I'm going to mix you up a little bit so we don't go in the same order. I'm going to go in the order that I have my questions. But Kendall Ross, I sent you a couple of questions, but if you want to deviate from that and just be sure and give us information that you think our county needs. You've heard the different people on the panel, and you know that most people that join us on this, I see our police chief, I see our mayor, I see our county judge. We have people here that are really concerned about our county. So that's kind of a reference for what we want to discuss today. And I hate to even have to say this because I'd like to take 4 hours for this, but we only have about 40 more minutes. So that's about, several minutes for each of you. So be concise. I'll stay as long as you guys want to. But Kendall, tell us about career training programs that you have developed for local high schools and industry. So in other words, what is making us nimble within the changing industrial layout of our area?
Sure. So you said be concise, which is really hard for me and Dennis. So we'll do our best here to be as concise as we can be. So I'll focus a little bit on the high school aspect of things, and I can kind of tell you a little bit about the other things we have accomplished. But from the high school side of things, with the development of the Peak Innovation Center, we have a $20 million facility there that has all of the technology training available for high school juniors and seniors. And then that program has been developed with about 20 different industry partners, and all of the UAFS faculty will be providing all of that training. And so high school juniors and seniors can be involved in that program. They can the great thing about it for high school juniors and seniors is it's free tuition. This is free college tuition, and it's free supplies, free books. Everything is provided for them. The only thing we really ask is that the students, or I guess the parents and guardians, provide the personal protective equipment for the various programs that we teach. But other than that, most of these high school seniors that graduate from the WOTC program and Peak Innovation Center will have just a few hours short of an associate's degree. And so it's a great way for students to get an education and then not have to spend a lot of money to make it happen. We have 8 technical programs, and then we have 4 health and education programs. And the technical programs are automotive technology, computer-aided design. I'm sure I'm going to forget one here. Welding technology. We'll be offering computer-integrated machining this fall. Electronics technology, automation and robotics. And then we also have unmanned aerial systems, so drones. So those are the things that we have to offer from the technical aspect of it. And then from the health and education side, CNAs, we have the only high school practical nursing program, the LPN program in the state. We have a program for emergency medical responders. We have a program for medical office assistants. So all of these students can come out and within just a few more hours have their associate's degree. There are 22 schools, both public schools, charter schools, virtual schools that come from 6 different counties here in Western Arkansas. And the demand is huge for this. We have 491 seats available this fall, and we have over 530 applications. And so unfortunately, we're going to have to weed through all of those applications and only allow 491 seats in the fall.
So are you nimble? Like, let's say Carol Ann at Pepper Source, they have a new line that they're going to be putting on. How do you work with industry to tool up their, like if they have a new need or something like that? Because I've seen you doing that.
Yeah, we do that because what we are able to do is to take a manufacturer or an industry partner and help them shape our program specifically. So sometimes, we're gonna see manufacturing skills that are very basic, like math skills or quality or project management or just that overview of lean. But then we may have a manufacturer that wants us to focus on robotics or PLCs, and we can modify that curriculum to help meet the needs of whatever that industry partner is.
Good. So I think you've already kind of answered that second question about career paths that you're seeing the most demand for. I mean, maybe we understand what career paths you cater to, but are you seeing 1 or 2 that are popping to the surface?
Yeah, actually there are 2 technical ones that are really for some reason just really being driven by not only the market but by students have a lot of interest, and that's in this automation area and robotics.
Yes,
that is huge right at the moment. And then the second program that's coming on really strong is this unmanned aerial systems, the drone program. We understand that Amazon and FedEx eventually are going to be delivering packages to our homes by drones, and so we're going to take advantage of that. We're going to train operators and train people so that they can be certified to make that happen. So from the technical side, it's that automation and robotics, which is becoming a huge thing in the market. And then from the health sciences, we see the normal CNA, and then now we see a lot of people interested in the LPN program. So those are the primary drivers of what we're doing.
okay. That's really good to hear. And you guys have got such a great reputation. And you're on here today for Crawford County because there's such overlap. I mean, I don't know what percentage of students you have over there from Crawford County, but I'd say we have a good piece of that pie over there. So I appreciate your recruitment of our kids over here. So
yeah.
Let's go on to Dr. Debbie Faubus. And the reason why I'm going there is because she kind of has this a very similar function in Crawford County that Kendall has in his area of Sebastian County. So and I know they've worked together on some programs as well. So Dr. Faubus, if you will tell us a little bit about alt sentencing in your discussion and how that you see that maybe as a boost for our economy or our workforce, because I don't think we always look at it that way, but I think we can. And then go ahead and tell us about the services that Adult Ed offers, again, to make Crawford County workforce stronger.
Okay, thank you. As I said earlier, our alt sentencing program started about 4 years ago, partnering with District Court with Judge Baker, who has been phenomenal to work with. I think we've seen a few things that I think attribute to the success of this program and with our economy. I think one thing is with this program, if I get a ticket and need to do community service, I have to do community service during the day. If I go into one of our programs, then I can come in the evenings and keep my job, keep my family together, be able to pay my bills. I think that's one thing that's very strong for this program. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I don't know how many of you know this, but we feed on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We rotate with churches and they come in and feed our students. And then many times they'll be in the car, the family will, because the person can't drive. So we go get them and they come in and eat. So I think it's very powerful for families. And I think it really adds to our economy that, like I say, people can stay employed. That's very important. And a lot of it is the residuals that we don't see is with their extended families. We may have, if a mother comes in, then her daughter may enroll in one of our training programs, and then her mother may enroll. We've had 3 different generations in here at a time, many times, going through some of our training programs, OSHA 10, workforce training, whatever it may be that they're interested in. Or if they just want to brush up on their skills, a lot of times they'll come in and enroll in one of our programs. Another part of that is training for jobs. If I'm in a lower paying job and I want to advance, like if I want to go to PepperSource and I want to do more, then PepperSource is familiar with the training that we have. And we can reach out to them and say, hey, this person's coming in, they're going through this 40-hour training. Would you look at them? It may be a better job for them. And because if somebody is going through one of our programs for 40 hours, chances are they're going to stay in a program. They're going to stay on a job. And so it's kind of like a vetting process also. In fact, one of them we sent to PepperSource was a violent offender, and he has been a really good employee for them. But he made up his mind and that's what he wanted to do. And he went through our career readiness certificate training. As I said earlier, though, the main thing I see is they get to keep their job, their families, they keep them together, and we all know that's important. And also that we get to train people if they want to move up in a job they have, or if they want to move to a different job. Some of the things that we offer is OSHA 10. We have 7 different OSHA 10s. We partner with Fort Smith Adult Ed and ATU Ozark in a CNA program. We also have a career readiness certificate that we offer, a wage certificate, which is Workforce Alliance for Growth and Economy, which is what we use for pretty much our basic workforce training because it has all the elements in it. It has financial literacy, digital literacy. It has communication and employability. I'm looking at Autumn because I want to make sure I get all those in there. So these are the things that people need in order to get a job, and we hope to keep a job. We also have basic introduction to construction, and we have available on our campus classes through Vincennes University, and that's the only thing that costs. And we also have someone that will help with their financial aid. We have, as I said earlier, SNAP, TANF. We have a Parents as Teachers program. And of course, we always offer our good old GED classes and ELL classes. Adult Ed has taken a change in the past 14 years. We are more as a workforce provider than just a GED. And this happened when WIOA took over, and we partner more with our business and industry. We have a lot of, I feel like, strong relationships with business and industry in our area, and I want to continue to do that. I was so glad to see Carol Ann come on board because she's going to be an asset, I know, for PepperSource. And I will echo what she said. I've been on many meetings in this county with the chamber, and Dennis has been there. We just can't get people for training. We've got the programs, we can't get people in here. But I'm going to tell you, this is my personal opinion. When we quit giving them money, then they're going to start coming in and wanting jobs. When you hand somebody money free, they're not going to work. I mean, that's just common sense. I think we all can see that. But, I'm excited about all of this and learning what everybody has. Kendall, I've got your number. I need to talk to you at some point. I just want to throw that out there. And when we move, I want to invite all of you to our ribbon cutting. We plan on having a resource room there. So anybody, 100 families is going to be there. The resource room is going to be, we're going to have classes, counseling, Arkansas Rehab, working on DWS with the powers that be. And, you know, Dennis's group is going to come over. So we hope that it's not going to be just for adult ed students, but for our whole community. If the judge, somebody tells the judge, I don't have a job, he's going to go, just go right down the hall and we can help you. As you all know, some of the clients we work with, if we say you need to show up at adult ed at such and such time, it's not going to happen. Well, a lot of them don't even have their transportation. We're also planning on having ACC there. So anybody that's on parole, we also will be there and available for them. And as Charlotte stated, with 100 Families, we partner with them because the people we see so many times, if there's one issue, there's 3 more to go with it. And it's so strong what we're doing. I don't know if you all missed or if Charlotte's going to say, a lady we had in GED ended up them getting her a car now. She is on her own, raising her child. She's got a job. I mean, that's what it's all about. We're all servants here. Everybody on this call, we're all servants to people. And we are blessed in this community and in the River Valley to have people that care enough to reach out and help us. And I appreciate all this information.
Yeah.
Did I say everything I needed to?
Yeah. We can't cover it all, I know, because there's so much that is done in our community. But just like Kendall said, the working with industry to try to find what those industries need, they need to drive our educational programs so that we can serve them and strengthen the community. So, and I know you have a workforce board. Dennis is on a workforce board. I'm sure that Kendall has that relationship with him. I've seen it. And so our community is unique in that we reach out to those employers and ask them, what can we do? What kind of training do you need? And then we try to put it together. So all of you people on this call today are part of that, you know, unique web that we've developed in our county. So awesome. Let's see, let's go to Ms. Carol Ann, because let's get a perspective on what kind of employees we are sending to you and what are their deficiencies and how can we strengthen you as a representative of different industries with how we get people into these training programs.
Yes, and I want to echo what Dr. Faubus said. We do have multiple employees that are still with us that have, been referred by Crawford County Adult Ed. So, I mean, we do so very much appreciate that and the work that you guys do to prepare people for the workforce and to send them our way. I did jot down just some helpful things, and I am more than happy to discuss more in depth, requirements, et cetera, with anybody to be helpful. And I do think that Pepper Source probably is a good representation of other manufacturers in the area. That they're going to have some similar requirements that we do for our positions. We are a second chance employer. Our positions are physical labor with repetitive motions, do require the ability to lift up to 50 pounds. There is overtime to be expected, possible weekend work. Most of our positions need some basic computer skills, nothing too savvy, and anything that they would need to do, they would have to learn no matter what computer knowledge they have, because our apps are in-house, they're developed in-house. So, it's just some pretty basic things to learn there. I see a dog just joined us, Dr. Faubus. Is that Olive? Yeah. So those are just some basic requirements for the bulk of our production positions. We are constantly looking for ways to make the day better for an employee at Pepper Source. We're constantly trying to come up with ways to retain, not just recruit new hires, but and we do have full benefits and insurance, 401k. We do have a weekly pay period and direct deposit payroll, because that seems to be, a very, just a need and something that's appealing to our workforce. Definitely room for growth. We want our employees to stay with us. We want them to move into other positions. We give them the opportunity when a role opens up to request, a transfer before we open it up externally. And we have been working to be more competitive with our wages. But having said all that, right now we are really finding it challenging to get workers to apply or to even come interview, or to stay, longer than a day or a week. It's been quite a struggle right now. So any help that you guys can provide on that, and people that are willing to work and you want to send them our way, it would be most appreciated. So
That's good.
yeah.
So one thing I've wondered about for Crawford County is, how do we get those notices for jobs out to, I'm getting them, but how do and I can send them out to my 100 families, emails, but how do we get, and can, all of you address this, but how do we get those job notices out to the people? Is there a place we should be posting those that could help you? I don't know.
And I am open to anything.
We
That's
post
what we've
jobs
been
on our
doing.
social media. Carol, you can send them to us, and we'll post them on our
Okay.
social media too.
I wondered about that. I saw your
Yeah.
postings and didn't know if y'all would post ours or not. Okay.
Yes,
Wonderful.
ma'am. Anybody,
Okay.
we will post them for you.
Perfect.
sure.
I get tons from Shirley over at
Okay.
the Western Arkansas Workforce, and then she's kind of connected into Goodwill, who's getting a lot.
Mhm.
But if anybody has an idea about a central location for that, then I think it's something we could work on, and that seems to be a solvable problem. So
Are your jobs, Carol, are they listed under arjoblink.com? Are you listing your jobs with us?
I do have those all on there right now. Yes. And then we also have them all on Indeed. I will say I received an email recommending some potential applicants just based on keywords in our postings, and my HR manager called one yesterday, and she kindly said, well, I didn't apply there, and said, well, I'm not ready to go back to work yet. So that's kind of what we're running into right now. So it's not for lack of trying. We're definitely putting our jobs out there. We're trying different tactics. I just made a new banner that we can put outside of our facilities to let people know that we are back to accepting walk-in applications. We had put a hold on that with COVID. I'm doing targeted Facebook posts. You can, if you boost it, kind of throw some money on it, and it'll hit a targeted area. So we are really open to trying a plethora of methods to try to get the word out. So
that's good. Well, anyway, I think if anyone on this Zoom today, has an organization or has a group of people that you need to get these out to, then I think we can connect you. So
that would be wonderful.
Let me
If she
know.
will email them to me, that would be good as well. And I'll send them out and post them here. I have my
Yes.
email at Western
Why don't you put it in the chat box, Shirley?
Yeah, I'll just put it in the chat box at the end for
Yeah.
you. And if you'll just email me the jobs and also what the job requirements are, because I'm always asked that as well. You know, do they
Right.
need to be 18 or what, you know, and I'll pass it on.
Perfect.
And,
So any of the panelists today that have a contact person at their agency they would like to add in the chat box, because I think we've stirred up a lot of questions, and I hope we'll get some connections between us all as we go on. So Shirley, I'm going to go ahead and let you go, and then Dennis, I'm going to save you for last because you kind of are a connector for almost all of these agencies. So I'm going to let you have the last word if that's not a dangerous thing to do.
actually, since I'm new in my position, if he notices I leave some vital piece of information out, I'm going to leave the door open for him to add to my comments, because like I said, I've been in this position since November, and you know, we haven't been operating like normal since I've been here. So I'm sure that there's some services that they've been doing in the past that I'm not aware of, that if he thinks might need to be mentioned, I think would be a good idea. Because, you know, we talked about yesterday about, you know, taking job orders out, job postings back out to the shelters in person and posting them there in person. And I know, Carol, you mentioned, you know, letting people walk in the door in person. And I think that's a great idea, because some of the people that we have had talk about getting a job, you know, a lot of them are like, well, I've been, you know, and I feel like we're still dealing with a population that likes to walk, you know that they can go to that place of business and apply for a job. You know, depending on the entry level of that position. And, you know, I think that would be a true catch for some of the people that I see coming into the workforce center. You know, some of us are just not crazy about going to that website or dealing with Indeed.com and all those other venues that we're doing. You know, I think we need to get back to people working with people. And I think that is going to push you way ahead of anyone else. We currently have today, they're called Elite Care, and out here in the front lobby, we've been allowing businesses to come in and just set up a table and try to catch some of our workers. And the reason I think this is going to be a great thing is that the early bird gets the worm, you know, and if their unemployment is not going to work out like they think or want, then as they're turning around to head out the door, they may drop off at your table and visit with you about your positions. We had, yesterday we had Centos here for part of the day, but Elite Care is, you know, they have some, I did a spot with them on Facebook today, and they start out at $15 an hour for warehouse help, which I was like, wow, that's a really good sum right there. So, but they're set up out here, and one of their job requirements that caught my attention as well was the fact that you don't even have to have a GED, because we get asked that question sometimes, do we need a GED? We don't have, if they don't have that. So we allow people to set up and, you know, make yourself very visible, bring banners or whatever to, you know, put freebies on the table, make noise, you know, and you can email me and I'll help you schedule a time so you won't conflict with someone else's time. Because that's one of the services that we do offer employers is the ability to come in during this time and set up, because we're just dealing with a totally different world. And, you know, one of the things, we have a lot of services here at the Workforce Center. We're not just the unemployment office, even though we probably look like it right now, because they're lined out the front door and down the side of the building out onto the back street over here. And we are also the employment office. And I mentioned that, you know, you can go to arjoblinks.com, and if you want to list jobs with us, you can go to, you know, contact us, and we have someone that puts the job orders in. And if you're a staffing agency, then we have you fill out a contract with us. The other thing, you know, we have assistance with resume writing. I'm sure we're going to get that started back up. We help with interviewing skills. We help referrals for all the different services. We have adult ed is here. They have a presence in our building on twice a week. I think it's on Mondays and Thursdays in the early part of the day. So we have a lot of services, as like Dr. Fobb has talked about, what, you know, all the services through adult education. And we have Job Corps, we have CSEP, which is also AARP. We have Services for the Blind, which I've learned a lot in the last 6 months. And one of the things I think most people do not realize is, like, for instance, Services for the Blind. If you have a client that, let's say they have cataract surgery, and if their vision is at a certain amount, and I can't remember exactly how bad it has to be, but if it's bad enough to have cataract surgery, it's probably pretty bad. But they will help pay your doctor bill for that, to get your cataracts removed. Even if you have it doesn't matter what your income is. There's no guidelines on that. And if you have, like, say, a $1,500 deductible or whatever it is, they will assist with that. They'll pay for that. They'll pay that bill. And I just think that's just phenomenal right there. So a lot of people that work in different agencies aren't aware of some of the services. When you say Services for the Blind, you think totally blind, and that's not it. They have a lot of things that adaptive aids that can assist people that are blind. So, that's one of our great services. We have Title I services in here, and in that program, they have a lot of different services as well. And I'm going to let Dennis elaborate more on his Title I program, but they also have a presence in our building. They are taking clients, and meeting with them now. We have veteran services. We have the veteran reps. We have, let's see, my services as well, which is vast and varied. We do unemployment here, and we try to help people find jobs. If they walk in the door and they say, hey, I had someone last week that wanted someone help paying to get his CDL. And so we referred him over to Title I for services there. He was just about finished up with that. So just a lot of great services. We are located at 616 Garrison Avenue. I did put my email in the chat box if anyone wants to contact me about anything.
Good.
And I could just go on. We cover 4 counties. A lot of people aren't aware of that. We cover Crawford, Sebastian, Franklin, and Logan. So we are not just in this county. And that's another thing. And we also are trying to reach out to areas that are not very well served. I think we're going to try to get someone over there with Dr. Faubus, because they can't cross the bridge either direction. There's a barrier there, and I haven't found it yet. But anyway, there's a barrier.
It's there.
And
I don't know why.
I don't either. And we help, if someone comes in and you ask the question about what barriers do we see to employment. Right now, there's not a whole lot, but I foresee the same thing that we've always had to deal with, which is transportation and childcare. And that's just the bottom line. It's not going to change. There was a young lady out here one day, and I was holding her baby while she was filling out paperwork. And essentially during COVID, like several other people that I know personally, lost their job because they lost their daycare. Their children had to come home from school. And, so I think about what's it going to be like this fall when everyone does decide they have to go back to work. And, we shut down our centers. We have people no longer serving, children and families. Where are we going to be at? So anyone that's interested in, working on that little project in itself, because that's going to be one of our barriers. And, Carol mentioned things that they're trying to do at Pepper Source to help employers is, to me, childcare is the person that can get that going and set up in their business is going to be able to retain those employees for sure.
Help.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Well, Dennis, I hate to give you the bad news, but you've got 11 minutes.
There you go, Dennis.
I think you planned this intentionally, Debbie, which is good. I have been watching the clock. I'm looking at what you asked me, so we can streamline this. I do want to add one thing as it relates to Shirley. As the one-stop operator, her position is paid for through Title I funds.
Okay.
And that's done because Title I is really under WIOA, the Workforce Innovation Act, Opportunity Act. Title I is the connector to all the other programs. We don't provide specific training. We do little skills development and stuff, but for the most part, our funds are spent on career advisors who assist people. We do assessments and suggest placements and help them to discover what their needs and what their strengths, what direction to go, whether it's training or whether it's some particular services or work experience. So we do that. And Shirley, she left a few things off. The biggest one is she really is the facilitator to help me and the staff here, and Debbie's staff and Kendall's staff and your staff, to connect to other partners throughout the system when there's a gap in services. The idea is not to double pay for anything, but to ensure that where there is a gap, to overcome those so that we can help folks like Carol Ann. And so I do want to mention that. And the one thing that, again, she's, Shirley came in under the dark ages, and now we're coming out of the dark ages of COVID, right? She also is responsible for 2 counties she didn't mention, which are managed or centered in MENA on the UA Rich Mountain campus.
Okay.
And that particular career center serves as a hub for Polk and Scott County. So she hadn't had a chance to get there yet, but I know she's heading there next week. So to manage time and in appreciation of all of your efforts and time, I do want to start with Carol Ann and thanking you for taking the time to be on here, because one of the biggest challenges that we have is not so much from the job seeker side, which is always a challenge, but from the business connection side. I came out of industry. I spent the last 35, 40 years in industry. I've been in retail, I've been in construction, asset management, and it's a different animal. Time is really the least resource that you have, and the most costly in efforts you need to do. So thank you for being here. And I always appreciate being able to visit with the other partners. And with that said, I want to talk about, before we went into the dark ages of COVID, our Western Arkansas region was really a beacon for the rest of the state.
Yeah.
The collaborations that were beginning and the partnerships that were happening, whether it was with higher education or primary education or adult education, or many of the community-based organizations that are here, even our elected officials, we were really collaborating at a level that just wasn't seen across the state. And then we went into the dark ages and we became good at this right here. Yeah. We are starting to see some in-person meetings. The Workforce Board, as of January, has started meeting in person again. We're careful. We follow CDC guidelines. We make sure that we meet any requirements that the individual groups that want to participate with us, to make sure that we're getting done what we need to get done. But to talk about your trends in the workplace, what we're seeing, we're still manufacturing heavy, as represented by Ms. Braswell. Second is healthcare and retail. I mean, those are the 3 biggest draws on our workforce pool that there are. And the challenge is we're back at a 5% unemployment rate again, right? I mean, we've got an unemployment rate that there are still not only states and areas, but countries that are jealous of the unemployment rate we have. Now, those of us that are in the community-based organization world know that only represents people who have actually worked within a certain period. And we know that there's a huge pool of people that don't show up in that number, which is represented by your different organizations. And why it's so important that we again start making those connections so that we can assist those folks. Under Title I, we have the privilege and honor of working with those populations that are underserved and most barriered. Our funds are supposed to be the last ones spent, and they're spent on folks that no one else can either help through the ability or the funding. And that's what we do. So it's very challenging. The number of folks that come through our particular programs is smaller than many of what you guys have, but it's because we're working with folks that have lost the ability to work in teams, that have lost the understanding of what it takes to be on work on time, communicate well with other people, show up the way you're supposed to be dressed, not go home at lunch and not come back, all of those challenges because they're living in crisis, right?
Yeah. Right.
And that's what, 100 Families is all about, crisis, but that's the reality. And if we're struggling with these challenges coming out of the dark ages, these folks are already in crisis and have a challenge to communicate and to understand. So it is so much more important that we continue to collaborate. That's a trend that we've got to get back to here.
Right.
And it really takes effort on our part, and we're doing it. It's just slow and arduous. So I applaud everybody that's here and want to continue to make those relationships work. And again, Shirley is a connector. I did put the Western Arkansas Workforce Board address in the chat box. And I put that out there because what it's going to take is not just one location to get a job search out or to notify folks of training opportunities, but it's going to take all of them. Because a single avenue is not going to get us where we need to be. More importantly, we don't know where these folks,
What they're looking at.
They are all coming at this from different angles with
Right.
different levels of technology and capabilities. So I, again, it's a matter of sharing with everyone. We have 3 programs, and I'll keep this really short because they're so easy to understand for me, but not for anybody on the outside. So we do that. I think the law does that intentionally, but we will make it easy for employers and other programs. All you do is call us and say, hey, can you help this person? And we're gonna let you know. And when we can't, we refer them to another program. But we have youth services, and those are available to eligible youth from 16 to 24. And they incorporate a number of different things. We can help in school and out of school students. We work very hard really to reach those out of school students. They're actually one of the most difficult populations to connect with. They are lost, disconnected, and they're just hard to find. So we really work hard with different groups. The career advisors here have gone out of their way. We work with a group called Get Real 24 with the Fort Smith Crisis Center. And we've got a number of their young people that we're putting into work experience. And we learn as we put them into work experience that they don't know what work is all about. Some of them don't even know how to put gasoline in a car. They don't know where to start. And so as we go through that program with them, we reassess and go back and do new skills training or take a different approach or get them into a different job. That's our youth side. We have adults, which really is the population that we're talking about in your organization here with 100 families. Those are folks that are, again, have barriers to employment, underserved. They need to learn how to become a sustainable employee again, how to reintegrate into the society of what work is. And so we work with the adult populations and then the dislocated worker population, which is those folks through no fault of their own have been laid off. So when Whirlpool closed or when Goodyear lays off 30 people because part of their organization is going to Asia or the Philippines. So we work with those different groups. So our program really does reach almost everything that you do to the age of 16. One of the things we've had to learn to do under COVID is adapt. I'm talking to you via computer. I am not a technological expert. Everyone will tell you that. I even struggle with my cell phone. But we are putting on, or we are working with, we're not putting it on. Magazine School gets all the credit. But we are working with Magazine School to promote a student-driven job fair. One of the things that all my friends know, I am an R&D expert. I rob and duplicate every good idea that exists
Like
out
it.
there that will help us and you to do better work. We robbed and duplicated this from Siloam Springs, and I think it's been improved on. Magazine school staff and students have worked so hard to put this together. We've got about 30 employers that are going to get to go meet these youth, 30 of which are ready to go to work in the local area. And it's going to be the reverse. So instead of an employer sitting there all day, getting very little for their bang, for their dollar, these students are going to do it for you. They're going to be there ready. And yesterday, I had the privilege of being able to send out profiles on all these students to the employers that had committed thus far. It
Wow.
includes a picture of who they are, what they studied, what their interests are, special skills, grade point average, and we got that information. That was feedback from an employer. They wanted to see that. So we're really excited to see how that goes, and we will share that back out with the group.
Yeah, I think that's something we could try to get. We've got 5 schools in Crawford County, and
Absolutely.
if that's something that works, let's put a team together. And one question I was going to ask you before you get off, Dennis, is if someone like in an industry has a need, like forklift operators or CDL or the robotics,
Right.
you guys are not doing the training, but you are an avenue for those that
That have a need.
the requirements.
Yes.
To maybe be the last source of some funds that they couldn't find. So
That's correct. And again, we can even be the entry door. One of the things about the One Stop, it's a system, not really a center. So I caution the group, don't be stuck on Fort Smith Workforce Center or Mena Workforce Center. Any one of us are an avenue to the One Stop system. And absolutely. So they could be forwarded to us or forwarded to Dr. Faubus or forwarded to Shirley, and then it will go to someone. If my career advisors can't help them, they will refer them to the next, whether it's vocational rehab or 100 Families or Antioch, whatever it may be. We work with those different venues to try and make sure that we get the surround and supporting services that they need.
Well, I hope everybody's on the panel has got their information in the chat room, because absolutely some critical information was given today by you 5. You're, an all-star panel, absolutely. And we will get that information in the chat room. I may stay open, the Zoom open just for a little bit with everybody muted, so you can read back through the chat room and get information or ask questions. But hopefully some ideas will come from this, and we'll be able to move on that, connect people. Shirley's a connector. I'm a connector in a different way. So us all working together is fabulous. So I'd like to thank the panel, and now we'd like to move on to letting you guys see what kind of data Crawford County is able to put up. And they brag on us at the state level continually. So when you're looking at the data and you may be confused about what it's showing, just know that we're giving the best data in the state. So our case managers that we have employed here and all the resources that we connect them to are just doing a phenomenal job. So I'm going to turn it over to Karen Phillips, and she's going to walk you through our data.
Karen Phillips with Restore Hope. I'm going to be super quick. I respect all of your time very much. But you know how we were talking about a 5% employment rate. Well, 100 families, whenever somebody comes in and enrolls in 100 families, we have a 69% unemployment rate. So 69% of the families that enroll into our program have no income from any source. But I wanted to just point out really quickly that red area, which is crisis, which means they have no income from any source, moves down to 29%. That's a 40% improvement. 40% of our clients obtain jobs. That is huge. It is the best in the state. We're very proud of that. And you can see how this is like part-time work. So we went from 8% to 26% having part-time work. Full-time employment went from only 17% of the parents that come in and enroll in 100 families had full-time employment, and that went to 34%. 5% made more than minimum wage and had benefits and things like that to 10%. So we are making huge impacts in this area of connecting people that have no employment to jobs, and that's hugely on those people that Charlotte already talked about through our partnerships with Adult Ed and others. But I wanted to also show you, because the biggest needs, and Shirley definitely touched on this, is around transportation and childcare. Obviously, a lot of jobs right now want people to work long overtime hours and weekends and things like that. And if they just don't have childcare, they cannot work those. I love how Debbie always brings the elephant out in the room. So thank you, Debbie, for doing that. We do know that people, need to have a need for money in order to work too. That's a lot of times. But in addition to that, the barrier really, there are true barriers around childcare and being able to provide single parents with the childcare necessary for them to work these long hours, or jobs that are flexible in those areas. So one of the two has to come into play. And so you can see we are also so successful in so many different areas of moving people out of homelessness into stable housing, and that still needs to get better. Whenever we've moved from 11% being stably housed to 30% stably housed, that's not good enough. We need another 70% to be stably housed. So while we are having movement, obviously, if there's these issues and crisis in their lives, we're going to continue to have problems keeping jobs. And so and that's what 100 Families is that we look at all these holistic areas. We don't just say, oh yeah, childcare is a problem. We try to solve for those. And that's why all of you are our connection team members that make that happen. We can't do that without you. And so we're just so thankful for your partnership. I just wanted to show you really quickly. So these are 3 pie charts. One shows the primary provider. And I wanted to show you because one of the primary providers we have in Crawford County, which is different from any of the other areas in the state, is that we have a child development center as a case manager. So the child development organization saw a need in the parents that they were serving, that they had all of these other areas of crisis, and they wanted to start addressing those. And so that's just another innovative way. Like any of you on here, if you want to become a primary provider of case management, that's what Restore Hope does. That's our part in this collaboration with United Way Fort Smith, is that we train you so that you can make an impact on the family holistically. We provide a system that allows that. And so please reach out if you want to start enrolling families yourself into 100 Families, or just be able to be a connection team member. Child welfare case types, I just wanted to give a shout out to DCFS. Charlotte moved these meetings to Tuesdays because Thursdays they have court. And so we wanted to be able to have y'all on. And so thank y'all for being here today. The team here in Crawford County, also just so proud of what y'all do, because you can see we only 2% of 100 Families cases are actually have children in foster care. That's a huge difference in other counties, and that's because Crawford County doesn't place children in foster care unless there's a very dire need. They try to work with families, and that's a great model because that reduces trauma for families and children. And so protective supportive cases, those are DCFS involved cases. Those are 28% of the families that are enrolled in 100 Families have one of those cases where DCFS is involved, but they're trying to work with the parents so that the children can remain safely in the home and receive the services that they need. And we walk alongside them in that. So thank you for that. Almost 60%, 59% are preventative, which means that there's no child welfare case, but you saw the areas of crisis, those bright red areas, which means families are in lots of areas of crisis, and we need to help them so that those cases don't have to occur, so that protective situations don't have to occur, so that neglect doesn't occur. And so that's one of the things that 100 Families participates in. You can see the referral types. So we get referrals from DCFS, adult ed, social service programs, community members, district court, all of those. And we would love to continue to diverse that pie chart even more. We love for that pie chart to have lots of pieces, because we want to get referrals from all of you as well. And so just a kind of a recap is that food stability is one of the major areas that on that pie chart, on the graph, that 40% of our families food stability went up. That's wonderful. Employment crisis decreased for 40% of our families, and I've already brought that up as well. But we do have 109 active families with 250 children right now. And I think that the total numbers served to date are around 140 families. So whenever you transfer that to household members, obviously, you're up in the 500 range of individuals served through the 100 Families Initiative. So I'm going to turn that back over to Charlotte. And if you have any questions, just let me know.
Thank you, Karen, and thanks for all the work you do every month to crunch the numbers. And we are a data-driven organization that wants to look at our data and improve our services according to how, our outcomes are looking. So that helps us to do a better job in the community. I just want to make a couple of announcements. We have a Mother's Day event coming up for our 100 families, moms and families, and we are partnering with Parents as Teachers because we have a lot of cross referrals, and so we're going to bring those families in for a picnic, and we're going to give them some of the kids some toys, or we're going to provide food and some games and a Mother's Day project for the kids. So if anyone wants to get involved with a donation to that, then we can point you in the right direction. I'm sure Parents as Teachers would love to get that. And then we're going to have
Charlotte.
Yes.
Charlotte, you want to mention that Citizens Bank is going to be cooking for us.
Citizens Bank, yes, they're coming on and bringing their big cooker, and we'll have hot dogs and hamburgers. So, and Hand to Hand Corporate Foundation in Alma, which is a subsidiary of A to Z, is providing chips and some drinks and some gifts. So we'll still have some gaps and some things we'd like to have. And the picnic is on May the 7th. Did I get that right? I think I may have. It's a Friday night.
Yes, May 7th.
Yeah.
Up at the Heights.
Right. So
Playground.
I can, Tiffany, if you're on, why don't you give your information in the chat box so that if anyone has something they'd like to partner with us on, then they can get a hold of you.
Okay.
And then there's Tiffany, one of our Van Buren High School students that I had a decade ago, and now she's doing a great job for families in our area. So, and then the other event coming up is a huge event through the Hand to Hand Foundation. They have been notified that they have been qualified and will be receiving the Toys for Tots, a semis full of books and toys. I think it's 8,000 toys and 33,000 books. And we're planning an event on the Alma High School campus, and there'll be some information that will be coming out on that. So we'll need some volunteers. We'll need churches possibly to come alongside, and nonprofits, and to put some booths up so the kids can have fun. We've got some food that's been donated, so we could use some help with adding to the food, and everything will be free, and it will just be a great day for hopefully these families to come together. And we appreciate Alma School District for putting that some space aside for us, and Hand to Hand in Alma. And so churches, nonprofits out there, see me, text me, and I'll connect you to the committee on that, and we'll see how we can put that together. And then those are the great announcements, but I want to end with just a heartfelt plea to you guys out there that know somebody that can work on cars. We have cars sitting in driveways, in their yards, and they may just need a spare a tire. They may need a water pump. Sometimes they can pay for the parts. They may have the parts, but they can't pay to get it fixed, or they can't pay for a tow to get it to a service station. And we've already seen that transportation is one of the biggest barriers to our families. So I hope that some people will think about this, and it will just be something you see that you know of somebody that could be connected on the transportation piece. Or if there are organizations that have vans that are idle during the week and you want to just kind of set up a service where we could pick up people and deliver them to work, or take them to childcare, or get groceries, or get pharmaceuticals. So idle vans are not good. And if you have retired people that want to drive those vans and do something awesome for families, then we would welcome that as well. I did want to give a shout out to Melinda McSpadden. She's the child care agency that is providing an amazing caseworker, and we are getting a lot of our child care needs met through her and through her connections with other child care agencies. So thank you to her. All right, who have I left out? And we'll try to wrap this up. Karen, what have I left out?
Charlotte, can I say something?
You bet.
I just want to add to everything that when we move up to our location, we're going to continue our clothes closet, and we need home products. We're available for people. Real quick story, because I love stories. Shout out to Gary Baxter. He brought in a whole bunch of his very elite looking suits, and one of our students was in DWI court. He was the best dressed man in DWI court. I'm not kidding you. And it was phenomenal. I mean, he had never had anything like that in his life. And it was just, Mayor Baxter just really helped out a lot. And I appreciate him. I wanted to give that. There's, as you know, a lot of people on this call that haven't spoke about anything, help out in many areas. Yes. But I wanted to give a shout out to him because that was so exciting. So thank you.
That's good. I saw Jamie Hammond was on here a while ago. They are a great resource for food baskets for us. They're getting those from another agency. And we just, our judges in this area are putting together some phenomenal programs that you will not see nationwide. I cannot tell you what our judges in this area are putting together, innovation and ways to take people out of their crisis and get them hooked up with jobs instead of, just sitting in a jail cell or having to quit their jobs. So it's really phenomenal. So we appreciate, really, we just got it going on here. I need more referrals. And I know there's more people out there that need us. So if you know families, send me an email or contact me on Facebook, and let us get busy. So, and I'll be located up at the court system as well. And I'll also have an office downtown by Pasta Grill that will be renting in collaboration with United Way. Okay. Anything else I've failed to mention? Judge, thank you for spending the time with us today, Judge Gilstrap. And all of you on there, if I haven't given you a shout out, I do appreciate you joining us. Okay, I'm gonna mute and turn my video off, but I'm gonna leave the chat room open so you can get on there and either get some information or answer some questions or ask me questions. All right, anything else, guys?
I want to thank you all for your efforts and everything that you're doing. This is very important. Thank you all.
Thank you, Judge. We appreciate you. Okay, I'm going to stop my video and mute myself, and you all can do the same, and then we'll leave the chat box open. Thank you all. See you next month.